Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to reveal something that may turn your entire understanding of luck upside down. What if I told you that being the luckiest person in the world has nothing to do with external events, nothing to do with chance, coincidence, or fate? What if I told you it has everything to do with the world within you? You see, luck isn't found out there. Luck is born in the invisible chambers of your imagination. It is not a roll of dice. It's a pattern of belief. The world mirrors back to you who you believe you are. If you believe you're unlucky, life will validate it in 1,000 ways. But if you dare to believe that the universe is working in your favor, it must conform to that belief. To be the luckiest person in the world, assume the feeling of already being that person. Yes, assume it. Don't wait for something to happen. Don't beg, plead, or hope. Feel now what it would feel like if you already were the luckiest. Imagine the coincidence that would unfold. See the people lining up to help. Hear the phone calls with good news. Feel the ease, the flow, the joy of your life unfolding perfectly. Live from that end, not toward it but from it. You must carry within yourself a consciousness of fortune, a self-concept that says, everything always works out for me. I am the exception. I am blessed beyond measure. And when you do that, you'll start to see so-called luck appear in ways that seem impossible. It will look like magic. It will look like the universe bending over backward just for you. But in truth, it's simply the reflection of a new inner alignment. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are conscious of being. Change your inner conversations. Stop saying you're unlucky. Stop remembering all the times things didn't work out. That story is over. Drop it. Begin telling a new story. Say, I'm always in the right place at the right time. Say, opportunities find me effortlessly. Say, I am a magnet for miracles. And above all, believe it. Persist in this new feeling, even when the outer world hasn't caught up yet, because it will. It has no choice. The outer must conform to the inner. That is law. Luck is not reserved for the few. It is available to anyone willing to command the unseen with faith. So I leave you with this. You are not hoping for luck. You are deciding to be lucky. You are embodying it, feeling it, and living it now. And the moment you do that, the moment you really do that, you will find that the world starts calling you the luckiest person alive. Luck is not chance. It is a state of consciousness. It is not something that falls randomly from the sky, nor is it a gift bestowed upon a chosen few. It is the outward expression of an inner condition. What most people call luck is actually the visible result of an invisible alignment, a person's persistent inner assumption about themselves and the world around them. When someone sees themselves as lucky, they begin to walk differently, speak differently, and expect differently. They carry within them a subtle confidence, a knowing that things will work out in their favor. This expectation becomes a magnet, drawing circumstances, people, and events that reflect that inner belief. The so-called coincidences and fortunate turns of events are not random at all. They are the precise and natural outpicturing of a mind that has already accepted the idea of being favored by life. The state of consciousness you occupy determines the quality of your experience. If you hold the feeling that you are always missing out, that things never go your way, you are affirming that state into being. But when you claim within that you are lucky, fortunate, chosen, without needing any external evidence, life begins to rearrange itself to match that claim. It doesn't matter what has happened before. The moment you shift your inner awareness, your world begins to shift as well. It may not happen in the way you expect, and it may not come through the channels you anticipate. But once you have accepted that you are lucky, not wishfully, but wholeheartedly, your entire reality starts to echo that decision. The state of luck is not an emotion that comes and goes. It is a deep, quiet certainty that lives beneath the surface of every action and reaction. It influences your choices, your timing, and the way others respond to you. It alters the script of your life, not by force, but through the effortless unfolding of what feels like destiny but is in truth deliberate creation. This consciousness of luck does not require effort. It only requires awareness and identification. You are not trying to become lucky. You are recognizing that you already are, and you're simply stepping into the feeling of that truth until it saturates your thoughts, your imagination, and eventually your experience. The world is a mirror reflecting your inner beliefs. Everything you encounter, from the people you meet to the situations you face, is showing you something about what you accept as true within yourself. Life does not happen to you. It reveals you. The outer world has no independent reality apart from your perception of it. It bends itself to match the tone of your inner dialogue, your assumptions, your emotional atmosphere. When you believe you are not worthy, the world reflects that belief in subtle and not so subtle ways. You may find yourself overlooked, dismissed, or passed over, not because the world is unfair, but because you unconsciously expect to be treated that way. On the other hand, when you hold within you the conviction that you are valued, loved, and destined for success, the world begins to arrange itself to affirm those ideas. People respond to you differently. Opportunities seem to arise with less effort. You notice doors where once there were only walls. This mirror-like nature of reality means you cannot truly change your life by rearranging the external alone. You must go to the root, the belief. The mirror cannot smile unless you do first. Trying to change the reflection without changing what's being reflected is an endless loop of frustration. But when you begin to shift the thoughts you habitually think, the identity you claim, and the emotional state you dwell in, the world reflects those new inner images with precision. Every encounter is feedback. Every condition is a clue. If something continues to show up in your experience, it's not to punish you. It's to reveal a belief that is still active within you. This is not a cause for blame. It's a call for awareness. The mirror is impartial. It doesn't judge. It simply reflects. So the question becomes not, why is this happening to me? But rather, what belief within me is being revealed to this situation? Even what seems completely external, chance meetings, unexpected events, so-called accidents, can be traced back to the dominant state of being that you carry. The mirror of the world is not just reactive, but intelligent, showing you with perfect clarity the tone of your inner world. As that tone shifts, so does everything else. You begin to experience life not as random, but as an ordered unfolding of what you have accepted as real within yourself. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Let that be your starting point, not your destination. Rather than waiting for something to change in your outer world, begin by embodying the emotional state that would naturally arise if your desire were already realized. This is not a performance or a forced pretending. It is a deliberate act of inner alignment, a quiet acceptance that what you long for is already yours in consciousness. To assume the feeling means to saturate your inner world with the mood, the tone, and the certainty of the outcome. If you desire love, feel loved. If you desire abundance, feel secure and supported. If you desire success, feel accomplished now. You do not wait for evidence before you feel these things. You feel them first, and then the evidence must come. This assumption becomes your new inner atmosphere. You walk, speak, and make choices from the energy of fulfillment, not from lack or wanting. Your inner conversations change. You stop asking when or how, and instead you begin to dwell in the naturalness of having. The desire no longer feels distant. It becomes familiar, like a memory you're revisiting rather than a goal you're chasing. Imagination plays a vital role in this process. In your mind's eye, see what you would see, hear what you would hear, and feel what you would feel if your wish were already a fact. Let your imagination create scenes that imply the fulfillment. Let those scenes become your secret reality, visited often, nourished by feeling rather than logic. You are not daydreaming idly. You are planting the seeds of experience, knowing that the outer world must mirror the inner arrangement. This assumption is not a fleeting thought or a quick affirmation. It is a dwelling place. It is a sustained mood. The longer you live in it, the more natural it becomes, until it no longer feels like imagination. It feels like truth. You begin to notice subtle changes in your environment. People respond differently, circumstances shift, paths open, but the real change happened the moment you assumed the state, not when the results appeared. To assume the feeling is to claim your desire from within and to walk forward in life as if it were already done. It is a quiet confidence, an inner knowing that bends the world to match its shape. Imagination is the creative force behind all luck. It is not a mere tool for fantasy or entertainment. It is the very power that shapes your experiences, opens doors, and orchestrates the so-called coincidences of life. What most people refer to as luck is simply the visible outcome of invisible acts of imagination. Before any event takes form, before any opportunity presents itself, it first exists in the unseen realm of thought and feeling. The imagination is your inner workshop, your private theater where every scene of your life is first rehearsed. Whether you are aware of it or not, you are imagining all the time. Every worry, every replay of past mistakes, every doubt about the future is a use of imagination, but in a direction that often brings about more of what you don't want. Conversely, when you begin to imagine deliberately, with clarity and intention, you become the architect of your own fortune. Luck is not blind chance, it is guided perception. When you vividly imagine yourself in a state of success, joy, or abundance, you are creating the blueprint for future experience. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts what is vividly and consistently felt as truth. Imagination plants the seed, and the outer world moves to reflect it in form. This is why those who seem incredibly lucky often carry an effortless confidence. They have, whether knowingly or not, imagined their way into that identity. They walk with an expectation of good, and so life delivers it. What seems accidental to others is simply the unfolding of their inner vision, the timing, the connections, the breakthroughs. They are not random. They are the natural response to persistent inner imagery. When you hold a clear, emotionally charged picture of what you desire, you begin to influence your own behavior, your perceptions, and the circumstances that appear around you. You start noticing chances where others see dead ends. You're drawn to take certain actions, meet certain people, say certain words, all of it flowing from the imagined state you occupy. What feels like instinct is often the result of subconscious alignment with the scenes you've impressed upon yourself. Imagination does not just predict your luck, it produces it. The more vivid, natural, and emotionally alive your inner scenes become, the more magnetic your field becomes to events that align with those images. The world bends to imagination, held with faith and persistence, and luck becomes not something you wait for, but something you generate from within. Your reality conforms to your dominant assumptions. It does not follow what you occasionally wish for or what you momentarily affirm. It responds to what you consistently and deeply believe to be true. These assumptions operate beneath the surface, often unnoticed, yet they shape every aspect of your life. They are the silent scripts that determine how you interpret the world, how you respond to situations, and what you ultimately experience. An assumption is more than a passing thought. It is a belief that has been accepted as fact, regardless of external evidence. You may not speak it out loud, but it lives in your emotional reactions, in the choices you make without thinking, and in the patterns that keep showing up. If you assume that people are untrustworthy, you will continuously encounter betrayal. If you assume that money is hard to come by, your world will echo that struggle. But if you shift your inner stance and assume that life supports you, that things come easily, that good is natural, you begin to create a different script, and reality must align. This process is not magic. It is law. The external world is not independent of your inner state. It reflects it faithfully, without judgment, without hesitation. Even when you desire something with intensity, if your underlying assumption contradicts that desire, the assumption will prevail. You can say, I want success, but if your dominant belief is, I'm not good enough, then your world will conform to that deeper statement. To change your life, you must change your assumptions, not through force, but through repeated, conscious acceptance of a new idea. Begin to dwell in the feeling of what you want already being true. Make it familiar. Let it become your new default state, your new mental home. As that assumption becomes dominant, the world will reorganize itself accordingly. You will start to notice different results, not because the world has changed randomly, but because your lens, the assumptions you carry, has shifted. This is why transformation begins within. Trying to control the outer world while maintaining the same inner assumptions is like trying to change your reflection without changing your expression. Once your assumption changes, your reality follows. Not always instantly, but inevitably. The lucky person lives from the end, not toward it. They do not chase outcomes or wait for signs before they believe. Instead, they start at the finish line in their mind and move through life as if what they desire is already done. They carry themselves as though the result is inevitable, not something to be earned or stumbled upon, but something that is already theirs in consciousness. This state of living from the end shifts everything, from their choices and behaviors to the way the world responds to them. To live from the end means to adopt the emotional and mental posture of someone who already has what they want. It is not about pretending or hoping. It is about identifying so completely with the fulfilled desire that there is no room for doubt. When you live from the end, you stop asking if and begin operating from the assumption of when. You stop wondering whether the opportunity will come, and instead you prepare as though it already has. That certainty becomes magnetic, pulling into your world the exact reflections of your inner conviction. This way of living alters your energy. It refines your focus. It aligns your actions, not out of fear or desperation, but out of a calm knowing. You naturally say yes to the things that match your imagined reality and no to the things that don't. You are no longer reacting to life. You are leading it from within. The lucky person is not surprised when things go well. They expect it because in their inner world it already happened. Living from the end is not about controlling every detail. It is about embodying the final feeling. If your wish were fulfilled today, how would you feel? How would you carry yourself? What would you no longer worry about? Begin living from that emotional place. Let that version of you inform your tone, your speech, your decisions. The outer world may take time to catch up, but it always must reflect the state you persist in. The lucky person knows this. They do not wait for luck. They live as if it already arrived. Change your self-concept, and your world must follow. The way you see yourself forms the foundation of every experience you have. It colors your perceptions, dictates your reactions, and determines what you believe is possible. Your self-concept is the silent architect of your reality. It sets the boundaries of what you allow yourself to receive and what you unconsciously reject. If you see yourself as average, unworthy, or limited, your world will reflect those beliefs with startling accuracy. But if you begin to see yourself as valuable, powerful, and chosen, your environment will rearrange itself to match that new identity. This shift doesn't require external proof to begin. It begins the moment you decide to adopt a new inner story. You are not changing the world first. You are changing your sense of self. When you upgrade how you identify, everything outside of you begins to reflect that change. People treat you differently. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach begin to appear. You carry yourself with new energy, and the world responds. Your self-concept is always being affirmed, whether consciously or not. Every decision you make either reinforces an old idea of who you are or plants the seed of a new one. The stories you tell yourself, the internal dialogue you repeat, and the feelings you allow yourself to dwell in, they all contribute to the picture you hold of yourself. And the world does not argue with that picture, it simply mirrors it. You may try to change your circumstances without touching your self-concept, but such changes are often temporary. Without a new internal identity, the old patterns eventually return. True transformation begins when you stop trying to change the outside and instead choose to embody a new version of yourself from within. Imagine the kind of person who naturally experiences the life you desire. How do they think, feel, and respond? Begin assuming those traits as your own, not one day, but now. This is not about faking confidence or pretending to be something you're not. It's about recognizing that who you truly are is not limited by past experiences or current conditions. You have the ability to redefine yourself at any moment, and when that inner shift becomes stable, when you no longer need external validation to support it, your world will conform. Not by force, but by the same law that has always been at work. Your reality is a reflection of who you believe yourself to be. Mental conversations shape your external circumstances. The thoughts you repeat, the silent dialogues you hold within yourself, and the imagined exchanges you have with others are not idle activities. They are powerful creators. These inner dialogues form the script by which your outer world plays itself out. Every complaint, every imagined confrontation, every inner approval or disapproval sends out a vibrational instruction to life, calling forth matching experiences. You may believe your thoughts are private, that what you say in your mind remains locked away, but this is never the case. Your mental conversations set the tone for your reality. When you rehearse failure, rejection, or lack in your mind, you're not just venting, you are planting seeds. You are impressing your subconscious with the expectation of what is to come. And your subconscious, being impersonal and creative, accepts and reproduces whatever is impressed upon it consistently. Most people live unaware of their internal speech. They wonder why situations repeat themselves, why certain patterns persist, and why some relationships seem to play out the same script with different actors. The answer lies in the habitual conversations happening within. If your inner world is full of arguments, explanations, and doubts, your external world will echo those vibrations. But when your inner speech becomes harmonious, when you imagine being heard, respected, appreciated, and successful, then that new tone begins to influence and reshape the external. The mental world is not separate from the physical one. What you continually say in your mind, even casually or out of habit, becomes the atmosphere in which you live. Conversations are not just about others, they are about yourself. Are you talking to yourself as someone who is capable, deserving, and powerful? Or are you narrating a life where you're always waiting, always lacking, always hoping but never quite receiving? These stories don't stay inside. They leak into every area of your life, shaping outcomes, molding relationships, and dictating what becomes possible. To transform your life, begin by becoming conscious of what you're saying when no one else is listening. Interrupt the old scripts. Replace them, not with wishful thinking, but with deliberate, consistent affirmations of your ideal state. Speak within as if everything you desire is already true. Hear the words you long to hear. Let those words become familiar, believable, and natural. Over time, they will crystallize into conditions, people, and events that mirror your new inner dialogue. Persistence in imagination leads to miracles. What the world calls a miracle is nothing more than the natural result of sustained inner vision. When you remain faithful to a scene in your mind, when you revisit it, feel it, believe in it, and refuse to be swayed by the evidence of your senses, you are activating a power that goes far beyond logic or probability. You are planting the invisible cause that must eventually produce a visible effect. Imagination is not a one-time event. It is not something you try once and abandon if nothing happens immediately. The creative process requires persistence, not through effort or strain, but through continued assumption. You hold the image, you return to the feeling, and you rest in the knowing that what you have seen within must express itself without. This is not fantasy, it is spiritual law. That which you impress upon the subconscious through repetition and emotion must objectify. Persistence means not wavering when doubt arises, when appearances contradict your desire, or when nothing seems to change. It is during these moments that your faith in the unseen is being tested. The outer world may try to pull you back into old patterns, but your power lies in staying loyal to the inner vision. You don't argue with reality, you transcend it by giving more attention to the imagined truth than to the temporary fact. Those who experience what others call miracles are not always more deserving or lucky. They are often more committed to what they have accepted within. They have trained themselves to dwell in the end, to return again and again to the feeling of fulfillment until it becomes their natural state. They do not need evidence to believe. They believe, and the evidence follows. The sustained use of imagination reshapes the self. It builds a new mental environment, one where the desired outcome feels familiar and normal. From this place, actions flow effortlessly, intuition sharpens, and doors open. What seems impossible to others becomes inevitable to the one who persists. The shift may be subtle at first, but once the inner world is fully impressed, the outer world must conform, not by chance but by the quiet, unwavering force of imagination faithfully held. Luck is the natural result of inner alignment. When your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are in harmony with the reality you desire, the universe responds with effortless favor. This alignment is not about trying harder or forcing outcomes. It is about tuning yourself to the frequency of what you want, becoming a living embodiment of that state. The fortunate events, timely opportunities, and fortunate connections you call luck arise spontaneously when your inner world matches the outer world you seek. Inner alignment begins with clarity about what you truly want and a commitment to hold that vision steadily within. It means quieting the doubts, fears, and contradictory thoughts that create dissonance. When your mind, heart, and imagination are synchronized, you emit a coherent signal that the universe recognizes and cannot ignore. This signal draws toward you the people, circumstances, and moments that support your desires. The lucky person does not depend on chance or external circumstances beyond their control. Instead, they cultivate a state of being that naturally attracts the right conditions. Their confidence is not rooted in evidence, but in an unshakable inner knowing. This state of alignment feels effortless because it flows from a deep trust in the unseen workings of life. It is like a river flowing smoothly to the sea, carrying with it all that is needed along the way. When you are aligned within, you notice synchronicities, seemingly random events that actually have meaning and purpose. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people, receiving the right information. These are not coincidences, but confirmations that your inner state is shaping your experience. Each lucky break is a reflection of your ongoing resonance with your desired reality. Inner alignment also changes how you respond to challenges. Instead of resistance or frustration, you meet obstacles with calm and creative problem solving. This openness allows luck to manifest even in difficult situations, turning what might seem like setbacks into stepping stones. The energy you hold inside guides you toward outcomes that feel like blessings rather than burdens. Luck is not a random gift. It is the natural fruit of a mind and heart in agreement with their deepest desires. When you align yourself inwardly, the outer world must follow, unfolding in ways that feel both surprising and inevitable. This harmony between your inner and outer worlds creates a field of luck where possibilities multiply and the flow of life carries you effortlessly toward your dream. Becoming the luckiest person in the world is not about chance or external circumstances. It is about the inner work you do, the beliefs you hold, and the state of consciousness you cultivate. By aligning your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions with the reality you desire, by living from the end and embodying the new story now, you open the door to a life filled with unexpected blessings and true abundance. Remember, luck is the natural unfolding of your inner alignment, faith in the unseen, and gratitude that magnetizes good fortune. Stay persistent in your imagination, honor your mental conversations, and watch as the world around you transforms to reflect your new state of being. Thank you.